This is a Volkswagen Golf GTI Edition 35 that I've owned for the past year. This is an owner's review on the pros and cons of owning this car. Firstly, we're going to start with the pros. So the Edition 35 is sporting the turbocharged 2-litre petrol 16-valve 4-cylinder engine that is tuned to 235 brake horsepower bolted to a front-wheel drive chassis. This engine is the same engine that is found in the same year's Golf R, and this is a down-tuned version of that engine. So the Golf R engine is running 270 brake horsepower but with all-wheel drive. This car has the option of a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed DSG transmission. With this car, I opted for a DSG as I want the comfort side, but then the obvious DSG bangs, and then the sporty side with the flappy paddles. This car, 0 to 60 is around about 6.5 with DSG or 6.6 seconds with manual, 0 to 60, with a top speed of around about 149 miles per hour. With the modern day tyres, which you may have these days, this may be a lot lower in perfect conditions. With my car, this has the Michelin Pilot Sport 5s, which definitely feel great on the car and may definitely lower this time. The car has the iconic GTI styling, as this sports the usual GTI grille, the dual tips exhaust and the sporty interior. But with this being an Edition 35 model, it sports a more aggressive front end, so like the bumper and splitter, and then it has the 35 badging on both the side fenders and then on the door sills. This also has the R Cherry rear tinted lights, the rear tinted windows, the Watkins Glen wheels and the blacked out side mirrors. This also came with the Glendale wheels as well, which was an optional extra, but this car only has the Watkins Glen wheels, as I feel like they look a lot better on the car. The car is very practical, as you get everything you typically get with a standard Golf, but obviously you get more of a sportier suspension that's set up by Hans J. Stuck, a famous racing German legend. So with this you can go 5 hand deep with the car and it'll be happy, whereas with all the hot hatches at the time, this may be a downside for that. So with this being a DSG model, you also get the comfort side, as with this it's very smooth when changing gears and it's a real treat to drive overall. Lastly, for the pros, this car does have great handling. So with a sportier suspension, like I mentioned earlier, it really makes the car enjoyable to drive, as if you have the adaptive dampers, like I do, you can switch from sport to comfort with a click of a button, and the difference with that is huge, as in sport you can feel every little bump in the road, and in comfort you don't. With the electronic LSD, you can definitely notice this, as when you try to put the power down, you can definitely feel it working in a sense. It really does help your car grip in, let's say, do wet or even the snowy conditions. With this, it also helps the car put the power down through the corners, which is really enjoyable to drive solely because of this. Especially if you have modern tyres, it definitely really changes how the car performs. So now I'm going to discuss the cons of owning the Edition 35. So the price of this car is on the more expensive side for a 2011 hot hatch, but this may be destined to be a future classic, so this may be going up in the near future. The car at the point of sale back in autumn 2011 was around about £27,000. To find a good spec one which hasn't been abused or is in good nick is around about £12,000 to £16,000. Another con of this car is the part pricing, as this can be a little bit expensive at times. So with this car, it's mostly the body paneling, which is very expensive, as it is becoming rare. So the Edition 35 parts can be very expensive for this. I've not had this issue with my car as of yet, but I have replaced a few parts, but it's not been anything major like the body paneling, mostly basic things like the fuel cap or the oil cap, which is just parts on the standard Golf. A positive to take from this though is that the engine is very popular. So with this being on previous gen Mark 5 Golfs, over Audis, let's say S3s, etc., parts for this is very easily available from eBay or even Volkswagen directly. Lastly, for the cons, I would say this would be the fuel efficiency, as with this engine it can be very thirsty, especially over the standard GTI that uses the Gen 1 EAAA engine. Volkswagen reports that the Edition 35 can achieve 39 miles per gallon. For me, I get around 24 on extreme lifting and coasting, but this just may be because my car is a Japanese import, so this may still have the map from Japan. So I may just need to get the Euro map put on, and then the car may run a lot better. So So my final thoughts on the Volkswagen Golf Edition 35, which I've owned for the past year, is that this is a great fun car to own, as you can have both the comfort and the sportiness as you do with performance Golfs from Volkswagen. But what makes this car for me is the rarity, and also I have a soft spot for Mark 6 Golfs, especially with the Edition 35. So thank you for listening to the owner's review of the Golf GTI Edition 35. We did make a video discussing why this car will be a future classic, so feel free to check that out. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.
I can't move on till I let go.